ever notice how a vehicle can make you feel like you just got promoted, even if nothing in your life actually changed? Because right now, you're sitting at a red light in a 2026 Mercedes-Benz G-Class, and the world is arranged differently from up here. The cabin doesn't smell new. It smells like money that doesn't ask permission. The leather is too perfect. The lighting is soft enough to make bad decisions feel reasonable. And when you close the door, it doesn't click, it seals, like you just stepped into a rolling fortress built to keep reality out. You look down at traffic like it's a lower tax bracket. You catch someone beside you glancing over, and your brain does that little chemical dance. Yes, this is it. This is what winning looks like. You feel powerful. And that's the first problem. Because once a car starts feeding your identity, it stops being transportation and becomes a monthly hunger that never gets full. It's not taking you places, it's taking from you. Quietly, automatically, reliably. This is the pavement princess trap, and it doesn't just drain your wallet, it drains your future while convincing you you're doing great. Except here's the part your brain keeps trying to skip. That G-Class wasn't built for the life you actually live. It was built for a life you want people to assume you live. Because you're not climbing cliffs, you're climbing the ramp to the mall parking deck. You're not crossing deserts, you're crossing 3 lanes to make an exit you almost missed. The most rugged terrain this machine has seen is a pothole outside a coffee shop that you still complain about like it's a war story. And let's talk about your weekly usage, because this is the part where the fantasy starts to sweat. You're not towing a trailer, you're towing your ego. You're not hauling lumber, you're hauling groceries and a gym bag you haven't opened since Tuesday. The heaviest thing you lift all day is a laptop, and even that feels heavy because you're carrying it to a desk where the air temperature is controlled by someone named Kevin. So what exactly did you buy? Because it's not capability, it's not necessity, it's not a smart decision. It's a mood. You're not buying utility, you're buying a feeling, one you can turn on every time you grab the steering wheel and pretend your commute is an expedition. So here's what we're doing today. We're not doing dealership math, where they slide a paper across the desk like it's a magic trick and the only number that matters is the monthly payment. We're not doing buddy math, where a guy named Josh explains depreciation with the confidence of a man who has never opened a spreadsheet. We're doing real math. The kind of math that doesn't care how good the car looks at night under parking lot lights. The kind of math that doesn't care how tall you sit, how loud it is, or how many strangers assume you're doing well. Because the pavement princess lifestyle isn't expensive in one obvious way. It's expensive in 100 quiet ways that show up like clockwork and eat your future 1 month at a time. So we're going to calculate the true cost, the payment, the hidden costs, the interest, the depreciation, and the opportunity cost. Not what it feels like you're spending, what you're actually spending. New cars are expensive now. Everybody knows that. You can walk onto any lot in 2026 and feel your blood pressure rise just reading the window sticker. But you didn't just accept that reality. You looked at the entire market, sedans, crossovers, normal SUVs, and said, no, I'm going to skip the tutorial and fight the final boss immediately. Because the 2026 Mercedes-Benz G550 lives in that special financial category where the numbers stop sounding like car money and start sounding like life decision. It's sitting in the mid-$150,000 range before you start clicking options like you're building a character in a video game. And I need you to hear what that means in plain English. That's not a vehicle, that's a mortgage with cup holders. That's not treating yourself, that's taking a 6-figure bite out of your future so you can feel a little taller at red lights. This is the exact moment where your brain stops being a math machine and becomes a storytelling machine. It starts saying things like, I deserve it, it's an investment, it holds value, it's safety, it's capability. And that story feels amazing right up until the bill shows up every month and you realize you didn't buy a car, You bought a lifestyle obligation. The salesman doesn't sell you a car, they sell you a number. They slide a sheet across the desk and point at one line like it's the only line that exists. Okay, so we can get you into it for X dollars per month. And this is where your brain betrays you, because your brain loves monthly payments. Monthly payments feel bite-sized. Monthly payments feel adult. Monthly payments feel like you're being responsible. So they do the oldest trick in the dealership playbook. They don't lower the price, they stretch time. They take the loan term and pull it like taffy until it stops looking scary. 84 months, 7 years. And the moment they say 84 months, something clicks off in your head. Not the car, your math center. Because now you're not thinking, I'm buying a $155,000 vehicle. You're thinking, I'm making a payment. At roughly 7% interest on a $155,000 note over 84 months, you're staring at a payment around $2,300 to $2,400 every month. Let me repeat that in the tone your nervous system understands. $2,300 every month. That's not a car payment, that's a second rent. That's a mortgage payment in a lot of places. That's your future getting drafted into mandatory service. And you'll be paying it for longer than some people keep their closest friendships. But here's the part that really matters. That $2,300 to $2,400 isn't your real cost. That's just the cover charge to enter the club where the actual expenses live. All right, you've paid the cover charge. Now we walk into the part of the club where the lights come on and everyone realizes what they actually signed up for. Because that $2,300 to $2,400 isn't your cost. It's the number they needed to get you emotionally attached. Now we stack the rest like evidence. First, fuel. The G550 is rated at 18 mpg combined, 17 city, 19 highway, and it takes premium gasoline. So let's do grown-up math. If you drive a pretty normal 15,000 miles a year, you're burning roughly 833 gallons of premium, and premium is never the cheap button. So even if you're conservative, you're looking at roughly $250 to $300 a month just to keep your identity purchase moving. So we'll call it plus $275 a month. Next, insurance. You're not insuring a car, you're insuring a six-figure luxury replacement with expensive parts, expensive labor, and expensive consequences. That's not Camry insurance, that's please don't let anyone touch my doors in a parking lot insurance. For most people, that's hundreds per month. Let's be polite and call it plus $350 per month. Then tires. These are the I might scale a mountain tires that will spend their entire life commuting to places with valet parking. A full set is not $600 and a smile, it's luxury SUV money, and you'll replace them more often than you think because weight, torque, and reality don't care about your intentions. Amortize it out, and you're looking at something like plus $70 per month. Then maintenance. Everything is bigger, everything is heavier, everything costs more. Oil changes, brakes, suspension, sensors. This isn't car maintenance, this is German luxury maintenance, which means the price always comes with a silent laugh built into it. Let's keep it conservative again, plus $150 per month. Then registration and taxes. A lot of states don't register cars, they register value. And you're rolling around in a vehicle whose value starts with a 1 and has too many zeros behind it. Call it plus $150 per month. So now let's add it up. Your $2,300 to $2,400 payment turns into something like payment $2,350, fuel plus $275, insurance plus $350, tires plus $70, maintenance plus $150, registration and taxes plus $150. That's about $3,345 a month. And this is the part where you realize you're not driving a car, you're driving a monthly subscription to stress, with a beautiful interior and a payment that shows up whether you feel like a capable man or not.
And we haven't even talked about the part that should make you physically angry: interest. Because you didn't just buy an expensive vehicle, you bought it with borrowed money, which means you're paying a bank a bonus fee for the privilege of making your future smaller. Let's translate what's happening in plain language. Every month, part of that payment isn't buying the car. It's not paying for leather or engineering or capability. It's just tribute.
A little offering to the financial system that says, "Thank you for letting me pretend I can afford this." You're paying thousands, often tens of thousands, in interest over the life of the loan to buy an asset that is simultaneously depreciating. So you're doing two losing activities at the same time. One, paying extra for the right to buy it. Two, watching it lose value while you do. That's not a strategy. That's a controlled burn. It's like tipping a waiter for bringing you a plate of money you're about to light on fire. And the worst part? Depreciation doesn't care how careful you are. It doesn't care that you park far away. It doesn't care that you wash it every Sunday like it's a ritual. Time is undefeated. Miles are undefeated. The market is undefeated. The moment you drove that thing off the lot, your net worth took a hit. And then you started paying interest on the privilege of that hit continuing. And here's the psychological trap that makes this whole thing work. That first week, you feel unstoppable. You take the long way home for no reason. You find excuses to run errands you don't need. You park, walk away, and glance back like you're in a movie. Because for a minute, your brain is convinced this machine says something true about you. It feels like you leveled up, but then time does what time does. By week 12, by month 3, you don't feel like a main character anymore. You feel like a person going to work. The seats stop feeling special. The ambient lights stop feeling like luxury and start feeling like lights. It becomes normal because humans normalize everything. We normalize new houses, new phones, new relationships, new lives. And that's the brutal part. The high is temporary, but the payment? The payment doesn't normalize. It doesn't fade. It doesn't feel smaller over time. It shows up every month with the exact same confidence it had on day one, like a clock you can hear at night. And once the excitement wears off, what you're left with isn't joy, it's obligation. You traded a few weeks of dopamine for years of financial pressure, and the only thing more predictable than the payment is the moment you realize you're still paying for a feeling you stopped feeling. Now let's do the only thought experiment that matters, because this is where the lie either dies or you keep feeding it. Picture two versions of you running side by side. Universe A, you keep the G-class. You've got the boxy status symbol, the vault door confidence, the head turns at stoplights, and a constant low-grade panic humming in the background like tinnitus. Every month is a ritual. Payment, fuel, insurance, maintenance, watching thousands leave your account on schedule. You don't even feel rich, you just feel committed, financially married to a machine. You're not asking, what do I want to build? You're asking, can I keep up? Universe B, you drive the most boring, reliable car imaginable. Nothing sexy, nothing aspirational, just a quiet little device that starts every morning and doesn't demand a blood sacrifice to operate. And the money you're not burning, because the difference here isn't $100, it's thousands. You keep it. You invest some, you save some, you spend some like a normal human. But the key thing is, your life has margin. Your budget has oxygen. Your decisions aren't dictated by a car note. And that's the part people don't understand. Options are the only real luxury. The option to take a trip without calculating guilt. The option to quit a job without fear. The option to handle an emergency without a credit card meltdown. The option to sleep without that quiet what if in the back of your skull. So, which one is winning? The one with the G-class and the payment? Or the one with the boring car and a future that isn't pre-spent? Here's where I lose some of you, because right now you're forming the argument in your head like you're prepping for court. But it's safer, but winter, but I travel, but capability, but it holds value. Yeah, I've heard it all.
And I'm not even saying those are fake reasons. I'm saying most people use those reasons the way they use a salad at lunch, just enough to feel like they made a responsible choice while they did what they wanted anyway. Let's be fair for 1 second. If you genuinely use that capability weekly, if you live somewhere brutal, you're hauling regularly, you're actually off pavement often, you're towing, you're using it as a tool, fine. Congratulations, you bought a tool that matches your life. But that's not most people. Most people use capability like they use a gym membership. They don't go to the gym, they just like having the gym membership because it makes them feel like a person who goes to the gym. Same thing here. You're not using the G-class like a tool, you're using it like a personality trait, like a rolling statement that says, "I'm prepared," even though the only thing you're consistently prepared for is commuting. And "it holds value" is my favorite one, because it's always delivered with the confidence of a man who thinks resale value cancels out interest, fuel, insurance, maintenance, and the fact that you're still paying thousands a month for a feeling. So yeah, keep the objections, bring them all. Just don't confuse a justification with a use case. People love saying it holds value like it's a spell that cancels math.
Yes, maybe it depreciates slower by percentage, but percentage is a magic trick when the starting price is insane. A smaller percentage of a huge number is still a huge number. You can hold value and still bleed tens of thousands in real dollars, plus interest, plus every monthly cost you pretended didn't exist. Absolute loss is what hurts, not the story you tell yourself about resale. And here's what people miss. That payment doesn't just cost money, it warps your entire life. Because once you lock yourself into a $3,000 plus monthly obligation, it doesn't sit quietly in the car category. It spreads. It infects everything. It's the house you can't buy, because lenders don't care that your G-class makes you feel successful. They care that your debt-to-income ratio looks like a red flag with headlights. It's the vacations you skip. Not because you don't want to go, but because you already went, every month, straight into a payment you can't take back. It's the emergency fund that never forms, because every time you try to save, the car eats it first. Your financial safety net becomes a myth you keep planning to start after life gets easier, which it won't. It's the credit card creep, the slow, quiet slide. A few charges here, a few charges there, because the payment took the margin and life still happens. Then suddenly you're paying interest on groceries, interest on birthdays, interest on being a human being. It's relationship strain, because now every conversation about money has a third person in the room, and it's wearing a Mercedes logo. You want to save, your partner wants stability, the car wants tribute. And it's career handcuffs. You can't pivot. You can't take risks. You can't walk away from a job you hate because you didn't just buy a vehicle. You bought a requirement, a monthly obligation that turns freedom into a luxury you no longer qualify for. Every decision gets filtered through one question: can I still make the payment? And when that's the question running your life, you're not driving a G-class. The payment is driving you. So here's the prescription. No loopholes. Buy a boring, reliable car that's 2 to 3 years old. If you finance, keep it 36 months max, or pay cash if you can. Then take the difference and split it. Invest some and spend some on things that actually improve your life. Travel, health, sleep, peace. Spend money on what builds your life, not what chains your life to a bank. They're not selling you a vehicle, they're selling you a financial prison with luxury upholstery, and the 2026 G-Class is the premium sell. Buy the boring car, keep your money, build your life.